Hey guys, let's get more news about Warriors, but first don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And leave the game was a challenging one for the home team, as they faced a tough loss that ended their winning streak with a score of 106-96, coming off significant victories against Memphis and the Lakers. They had shown their strength on home turf, where they also managed to defeat Denver once again. The opponent, now sitting in second place in the standings, proved to be a formidable challenge. Earlier that evening, the Lakers secured a win, and the Nuggets suffer a loss which could have allowed the Warriors to move into sole possession of the fourth spot in the rankings. However, things didn't go as planned for Golden State. Draymond Green picked up 5 fouls early in the third quarter, forcing him to sit out for the rest of the game. Stephen Curry, usually the team's leading scorer, struggled early on, scoring only 3 points in the first half. His lone three-pointer came at the very end of the second quarter, a long-range shot nearly from midcourt. He finished the game with just 3 points, and it was a rough night for the team, as they found themselves trailing by 4 to 10 points for most of the second half. The defense of the opposition was solid as they marked Curry closely, preventing him from getting into his usual rhythm, a rhythm that normally places him among the top scorers in the league. On top of that, the Warriors committed a high number of turnovers and allowed easy points in transition. Despite their struggles offensively, they did a decent job on the boards, but it was clear that it wasn't their night. The intensity of the game felt as though it were a playoff matchup. As expected, when two teams face off for the 5th time in a season, the stakes are always higher in these kinds of matchups, where the intensity is palpable and the outcome feels crucial. When looking at the individual performances, Klay Thompson led the charge for the Warriors, putting up 14 points. He also had the difficult task of guarding the hot hand, which in this case was Curry's defender, effectively limiting him to a single field goal in 10 attempts. Curry was a mere 1 of 8 from beyond the arc, totaling just 3 points on the night. Thompson's efforts, though commendable, weren't enough, and he ended the game with a +-4 alongside 4 turnovers, which made even ball movement and getting the ball in a play difficult. Despite a tough performance from Thompson, another player stood out for the opposition, Dillon Brooks, who's not often recognized for his scoring ability, but on this night he exploded for 24 points, hitting 10 of his 13 field goal attempts. Brooks was hard to contain, as he had a remarkable shooting night, and the Warriors struggled to stop him throughout the game. Jalen Green chipped in with 21 points, and Sean contributed 19, making a significant impact as well. A controversial moment in the game came early in the second half, when the Warriors committed 3 fouls in less than a minute, and Draymond Green was whistled for his 5th foul on a play that many felt shouldn't have been called. It was a routine play where Green went up for a shot at the basket, yet he was called for the foul, which essentially ruled him out for the rest of the game. This situation clearly hurt the Warriors' defense, as they were forced to adjust without one of their key defensive anchors. Draymond finished the game with just 2 points and a -16 on the night, a performance far below his usual standards. Even though he didn't contribute much offensively, Curry was still able to help facilitate the offense, dishing out 8 assists and creating opportunities for his teammates. Some players off the bench also made contributions, providing solid minutes when needed. The Warriors' bench wasn't terrible, but the opposition's bench was equally effective, and they managed to keep up the pressure throughout the game. When looking at the stats, it became clear that the Rockets had the advantage in several areas. They shot a higher percentage from the field, including a better showing from the 3-point line. The Warriors, on the other hand, allowed more fast break points, a statistic that proved to be a major factor in the outcome. The battle in the paint also favored the Rockets, as they were able to score inside, while the Warriors struggled to finish at the rim. Although both teams struggled from the free throw line, the Warriors' inefficiency in that department didn't help their cause either. Ultimately, it was a lackluster performance from Golden State, but it's important to give credit where credit is due. The Rockets earned a victory, and sometimes That's just the way the game goes. In the early moments of the game, the Warriors had a slight lead, but by halftime the momentum had shifted. The Rockets took control in the third quarter and never really looked back. The Warriors made a push in the final period, cutting the deficit to a single possession at 1 point, but they never quite got over the hump. In games like this where a team is down and trying to rally, it's always expected that a late-game surge will be the key to winning, especially for a team like the Warriors, known for their ability to heat up in the final stretches. However, that didn't happen this time. Looking at the standings, the loss was significant as it dropped the Warriors to the 6th spot in the conference. The 5th-place team now had the upper hand in the race, and the Warriors' next game was against that very team, currently tied with another squad. Golden State still had the advantage, but the upcoming games were critical. A win could secure a higher seed in the playoffs, while a loss could push them down to the 8th seed, potentially forcing them into the play-in tournament instead of securing a guaranteed playoff spot. It was a tight race, and every game mattered. Reflecting on the Warriors' schedule, it's evident that losses to teams like Miami and Atlanta were costly. These are the types of games that need to be won if a team hopes to finish high in the standings at the start of the season. It was emphasized that elite teams don't suffer these types of setbacks against weaker opponents. While the Warriors have had their share of wins, some of their losses have been particularly frustrating. The loss to Philadelphia was a tough one to swallow, and the defeat against Dallas was another missed opportunity. These types of losses add up, and when you look at the standings, the impact is clear. Looking ahead, the Warriors are preparing for a tough road game against the Suns. Phoenix is in a difficult spot, trailing by 3 games and needing to win every remaining game to stay in playoff contention. It's unclear whether they will be able to pull off a miracle run, but one thing is certain: they will be motivated to bring their best effort to the court, especially with a key player facing off against his former team. This could be an opportunity for the Warriors, as they will need to perform well on the road to keep their playoff hopes alive. Every game from here on out carries immense importance. With just a few games left on the schedule, the Warriors must win as many as possible to solidify their spot in the postseason. The Suns game is crucial, and if Golden State can win that, they will head into the final stretch with some momentum. After Phoenix, the Warriors have 2 more games that look more winnable against San Antonio and Portland. If they can take care of business in those matchups, they will have a great chance to secure a spot in the playoffs. However, it will all come down to the final few games, and the matchups against these teams will be critical in determining whether Golden State heads into the playoffs or finds themselves battling in the play-in tournament. As the Warriors prepare for the final stretch of the season, there is a sense of urgency. The next few games will shape their playoff fate, and the team knows they must give their all if they want to make a deep run in the postseason. A victory over Phoenix would be a huge step in the right direction, and the Warriors must take full advantage of this opportunity. With 2 more winnable games coming up, the road to the playoffs is still in their hands, but they need to perform at a high level to ensure they don't fall short in the crucial final weeks. Looking at the upcoming games, there's a definite sense of urgency for the Warriors. After facing Phoenix, their remaining schedule offers a glimpse of hope with matchups against Antonio and Portland, both teams that have struggled throughout the season. However, these are the types of games that the Warriors must win, no exceptions. Each victory from here on out will be crucial to maintaining their playoff hopes and securing a favorable position in the standings. While San Antonio and Portland are considered weaker opponents, it's important to remember that the Warriors cannot afford to overlook any team, especially at this stage of the season when every game feels like a must-win. They need to be focused and hungry, playing with the intensity and determination that has been a hallmark of their past success. Looking at the playoff picture, the Warriors are in a tight race, and the battle for the playoffs is far from over. As the season winds down, every game has a significant impact on the standings. The team's goal is to avoid the play-in tournament, and in order to do so, they need to finish strong in these last few games. The margin For error is razor thin, and even a single loss could have major implications for their playoff positioning. The Warriors are currently in the midst of a fierce competition with several teams, all jockeying for position and hoping to secure a spot in the postseason. This makes every game incredibly important, especially against teams in the same tier in the standings, with the Suns, San Antonio, and Portland all in their sights. The Warriors have a chance to build some momentum and move up in the standings, but there's more to the Warriors' playoff push.